Have you ever wondered, is it worth it buying the premium tools for a job in your shop, or should you just buy the no-name generic brand? I'm going to cover that today, give you some good guidelines to make that decision, so keep watching. Hey, Ray Ruthin here. Welcome back to the Woodcrafting Place, where we bring you woodworking knowledge to help you improve your time in the shop, to make it more efficient, more effective, and more enjoyable. So today we are covering one of the basic tools that every DIYer needs in their workshop. We're going to cover jigsaws. So whether you're a beginning DIYer, you're looking to upgrade your jigsaw, or you're looking to buy a gift for someone you care about, we're going to cover the basic things you need to know, the features you should know. Is it worth spending 4x the price of the basic generic model, Black & Decker, the basic? Or is the high-end DeWalt or other similar type worth it? We'll cover that now. Tools were bought with my own money, and this comparison is strictly for your personal use. So, of all these three brands that I'm going to cover today, they will all do the same basic job. So first, let's go over the basic features of the various saws. Okay, so here's just your basic DeWalt jigsaw, corded versus cordless, which is one of the features that you'll come across in your investigation. All of the saws have up and down cutting mode. A variable mode, which will take you from straight cutting to an oscillation, a blade motion, and we'll cover that in a test. Yep, we're going to test these and put them up against each other to see exactly, is there really a difference between the low-cost one and the high-end version. There's a base plate. Everyone has a base plate, and they all adjust, all three adjust, so you can angle the saw for making angle cuts. Now, new saws today all have, and all three of these do, have a ability to remove the blade without touching it. Now that's a pretty important feature while you're cutting, because that blade gets hot. How the base plate adjusts will be unique to each saw. Some have levers, some require tools. The Black & Decker right here, you can see, here we go, here's the tightening feature. So this, if you put enough force, you can see that moves. That's a pretty big feature as what separates these two, the basic from the other two. Now these all have some kind of a lever that lock this in. Now that is rock solid. That's not going anywhere. There's actually detents in the cast plate so that it locks right in. And it is a cast plate, not prone to bending. This saw has a stamped steel plate. You can see it here. And I have bent that plate during use in the past. So other features include, obviously, variable speed. They all have variable speed, and they also all have a locking button, so you can lock the trigger on as you're doing long cuts. Press the trigger, it disengages. Some of the saws on the market today also have this mode, which is a mode that takes the fan and motor air and blows it out past the blade. That way it blows the sawdust away from the saw so you can see what you're doing. Obviously, you have corded versus cordless. So that's a preference as to what your needs. Every brand makes a cordless model, but I will tell you right up front, if you decide to go for a cordless model, make sure you get extra battery, right? Have two batteries. All right, so some other elements. We're gonna go from the 4.5 amp motor, okay? Now this is a brushless. This one's also 4.5 amps, and this is 6.5 amps, all right? So this one has significantly more power than the two of these. Will you need the power? Well, that's another question. So this unit comes with, as you can see, all steel gear housing and the metal gears. All of them actually have metal gears, drive gear. In weight, you go from 4.5 pounds to 5.5 pounds, depending on the bat. 6.5 to 7 pounds, right? So this one has got a little more weight to it. You will notice as you pick this saw up, it's got a lot more mass to it. Now, the real difference, price difference, and these will all be summed up in the end in a nice chart. $30. This is about $116 depending on what they're for sale for Amazon, and this is about $140. This one is just much cheaper. It's $30. Let's talk about the cutting modes and what the difference is and why it makes a difference to you. You can see in figure 1 your basic up and down straight cutting mode. Now the Black & Decker has a 3/4 inch stroke, and that's the difference from when the blade is all the way at the bottom to all the way at the top. Well, that means as you're cutting up and down, as long as the material is 3/4 of an inch or smaller, the little blue dots you can see in a diagram, which represents sawdust, will clear. So you look in diagram 2, you can see that all the little blue dots vacate when the saw goes all the way up at the end of its stroke. You run into the issue when, as you see in figure 3, if the wood thickness is greater, say you have 1-inch wood, your 3/4 inch stroke does not travel far enough to eliminate and get rid of all of the sawdust. Those will act as a standoff, so the blade will have a difficult time making contact and actually cutting the wood. Now we go to figure 4 and see that the blade which cuts on the way up disengages from the wood on the way down. All that sawdust that built up, it's kicked off, it's no longer in the cut process. So let's get to running the test and you'll see how these three compete with each other. Hey, and if you like what you see today, make sure you hit the thumb to let us know that the content we bring you is of value, that you enjoy it, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified each week of all the content we bring you. Okay, that's it. Test done. You got to see a good demonstration of how these saws cut through a 2x10. What I was able to demonstrate was the difference that the thicker wood makes in the straight cutting process employed by the basic saw to the DeWalt and the Ryobi. And then you could see as we went through the modes, significantly faster, right? The Black & Decker took like 45 seconds or 50 seconds to go through one cut. There's only one mode, so we only got one test. That was a brand new blade. Now each saw had a brand new blade used in the test. Same package actually that the blades came from. You could see I took them right out of the package. Both very sharp. It's a matter of you really would want either to go cordless. It accomplished the mission. I was actually impressed. I got 18 cuts through 2x10s. I ran out of 2x10, so I finished the last cut on a 2x4 at 19th cut before the 1.5 amp hour battery died. There's also a good chance if they have any cordless tools. This is a very common brand, so they might have batteries already. In summary, these were really 3 very different tools. They provide different price points. I'm going to be honest with you, this particular model of the Black & Decker, there we go. I don't waste your money. Sick cordless tool, the Ryobi. This is a tool that you would buy and have for many, many years. It might be the only one you ever have to buy. Of the features, both saws had all the key features that are important. The base plate issues with the Black & Decker really make it an undesirable saw. Alright, so as I promised you, I was going to give you some guidelines for recommendations on whether the high-end tools are worth it or not. And it's actually a pretty simple guideline. If it's a core tool, if it is something that they will use on frequent projects, or it's a basic tool that you really need to have in your toolbox, like a hammer, screwdrivers, jigsaw. This is a core tool. This is a tool that's pretty important that will get reached for quite frequently. Matter of fact, if it's between this and a circular saw, or first saw, power saw, this is what you want to do. Now imagine you have to cut an 8-foot piece of composite down the length with the basic saw. I can tell you that took me 45 minutes to do. It was exhausting. I used this. There's actually what caused me to decide to go out and buy the wall. This will not stand up to that length of cut, that duration. It'll go through many batteries. And this just gummed up and loaded up so fast it would start to move about 2 minutes into the cut, about 6-10 inches into the cut. It would just basically block right down. So that's it. What do you think? Did you get some good information from it? You're going to buy a gift or a cordless recorded jigsaw for your shop with options. And if budget is really a big concern, I know I talked about the higher end tools, and if you really do need to focus on a lower budget, this saw can be bought for just a little bit more than this, with some good features. Again, if this is a core tool for your shop, and or for someone that you care about, and it's really that first big saw, power saw for the workshop, this is something that they will have for a very long time. So yes, it costs a lot more than this, but they will certainly come to appreciate the power and features. So the links for everything that I went over today will be down in the comments, right? These are affiliate links to help contribute a little thing to the channel. So I really appreciate you spending your time here with us today. I know your time is valuable, and it means the world to me that you chose to be here for this video today. So happy holidays. Have yourself a great day. We will see you again real soon.